In 2010, an 80-year-old art dealer named Forrest Fenn hauled a 42-pound bronze chest deep into the Rocky Mountains. He had been diagnosed with kidney cancer, and this was his final act of adventure. Inside that Romanesque lockbox was a fortune valued at up to $2 million. He packed it with hundreds of rare gold coins, precious gems, and raw placer gold nuggets he had gathered over decades. Fenn didn't leave a map. He published a 24-line poem containing 9 distinct directions. He stated that if a searcher followed these instructions with total precision, they would land directly on the gold. A dying man's final wish to be buried with his gold sparked a decade of desperation. What began as a poem became a shared obsession that consumed 350,000 lives and ended 5 of them. This map shows the sheer scale of the playing field. Fenn restricted the search area to a 1,500-mile stretch of the Rocky Mountains, running through New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. For years, the hunt was a quiet curiosity among outdoorsmen. That changed in 2013 when Fenn read his poem on national television, causing the search traffic to multiply instantly. One specific instruction, begin at where warm waters halt, could be mapped to a hot spring, a calm lake, or a river junction. Because the text lacked a fixed geographical anchor, it could be twisted to fit almost any landscape in the Rockies. A massive cross-section of America, retired engineers, veterans, and suburban families became obsessed. They sat at their kitchen tables and tried to overlay Fenn's stanzas onto topographical charts as if they were literal GPS coordinates. By treating a piece of poetry as a brute force geographic puzzle, searchers were unknowingly building their own psychological traps. The Rocky Mountains are an unforgiving environment. Thousands of amateur treasure hunters wandered into high-altitude, remote terrain, completely unprepared for the wilderness. The hunt claimed at least 5 lives. These searchers often vanished alone in the winter or during the surge of the spring runoff. Secrecy about their locations made rescue operations nearly impossible. This is how searchers got trapped in the solve cycle. A hunter would pick a physical location first and then force the poem's text to match that exact spot. When the search failed, they didn't abandon the theory. They just tweaked the details and planned the next trip. The longer they stayed in this loop, the more the sunk cost fallacy took over. Hunters emptied their bank accounts and ruined their marriages. After investing thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours, walking away felt like an admission that they had wasted their lives. The promise of millions in gold warped their judgment. The victims repeatedly placed themselves in freezing rapids and on steep canyon edges, risks they never would have accepted under normal circumstances. In these mountains, a flawed theory proved more lethal than the weather. The hunt's real danger was the mind's refusal to abandon its own fiction at any cost. After a decade of failure from veteran outdoorsmen, the person who finally found the chest was an outsider. Jack Stoof was a 32-year-old medical student from Michigan who didn't even hear about the treasure until 2018. Stoof succeeded because he stopped treating the text as a map. He realized the poem was less of a puzzle and more of a psychological profile of the man who wrote it. Instead of plotting coordinates, Jack Stoof researched Forrest Fenn's childhood. He analyzed interviews and memoirs to find the landscapes Fenn cared about most. He realized that if Fenn originally planned to die beside the chest, the location had to be deeply personal. This biographical approach cut straight through the noise. Stoof's profile pointed directly to Yellowstone National Park, where Fenn spent his childhood summers fishing. To crack a deeply personal code, understanding the architect's emotional intent is far more precise than a compass. On June 6, 2020, after spending 25 days physically searching his targeted area in Wyoming, Jack Stoof pulled the tarnished bronze chest from the dirt. When the discovery was announced, the treasure hunting community spiraled into denial. Hunters refused to accept they were wrong, launching a barrage of lawsuits against Fenn and the anonymous finder. To protect the land, Fenn held a secret Zoom meeting with the chief ranger of Yellowstone National Park. After reviewing the exact coordinates, the ranger determined the site would be destroyed by tourist traffic. They agreed to seal the location permanently. Just 3 months after Stoof unearthed the chest, Forrest Fenn died at the age of 90. The physical chase was complete, but his exact resting place was immortalized as a mystery. The items inside the chest were eventually auctioned off for over $1 million, permanently scattering the gold coins and artifacts into private collections. We are left with 2 distinct types of explorers. 350,000 people walked blindly into the wilderness on a hunch. One man walked in simply to retrieve what his research already proved was there. The poem's power lay in the illusion of progress it offered. These instructions gave people exactly what they were looking for, a consuming sense of purpose to fill their lives. Behind every map is a human being. You can spend a lifetime fighting the geography, but you will never conquer the maze until you understand its maker.